Welcome to Advanced Aircraft Systems. I'm your instructor, Tom Mahoney. Hope you're all sitting back, getting ready to go for this course. I'm certainly ready to go. I've got my power cup here. I'm drinking my hot tea. I don't drink coffee. Always made me wonder how I became an airline pilot. It seems to me like if you're going to be a pilot, you got to drink coffee, but never did take up that habit. But I do drink hot tea. So let's get started. A little bit about myself. I am an instructor at Kansas State University on the Salina campus, the aviation campus, and I teach the face-to-face advanced aircraft systems, and I also help with the CRM, which is Crew Resource Management Lab, where you will learn how to fly the CRJ 700. We have a really nice little trainer there. It's about an $800,000 piece of equipment. And if you proceed further forward or you're going for a degree program, you'll have the opportunity to be trained on that. And that'll be really interesting. This course is a prerequisite to taking that course. So enjoy this course as much as possible. If you're going to be an airline pilot, as I was, you will have to learn a lot of aircraft systems specific to the jet aircraft that you would be flying in the airlines. And this is going to be kind of an introductory to that kind of training system. So as you know, this is an 8-week course. It will seem like it's going to go pretty fast because we're going to cover a lot of different systems, 12 systems at least. And if you want to call the 13th a system, it's actually more of just general knowledge. But we're going to cover a lot of systems in this class. So let me go ahead and take you to the Canvas homepage where the modules are. I'll give you kind of a quick tour about the course and what we can expect to learn throughout this next 8 weeks. Okay, so when you get to the Canvas, just select the homepage, and that will take you to the modules, and I will take you through this somewhat step by step, how the modules and how the program moves along throughout the 8 weeks. So obviously, if you found me here on this video, you've gotten to the introduction portion of the course where it says, welcome to Advanced Aircraft Systems. View the videos in this section first. So a good choice here is view those videos. It's going to give you a good start on how we're going to proceed through. The next thing I want to do is talk to you about the syllabus. So we'll click on the next line. Syllabus for this course is required as a K-State course, and so it tells you a little bit about how we're going to do this. So syllabus for online advanced aircraft systems. We do not necessarily have a number for it just yet that I was able to put in here, but the course name is PPIL 325 Advanced Aircraft Systems for 3 credit hours. And of course, we're meeting in my living room or your living room, however you want to view it. And it is a prerequisite for CRM. Again, my name is Tom Mahoney. I'm your instructor. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason, I do accept phone calls and text messages, and I will try to respond to those immediately. So if you have a need to get a hold of me quickly, the best way to do it is call my phone number, 314-882-2495. If you want to try to go ahead and send me an email, my email is pinball@ksu.ed. I will try to reply within 24 hours. However, when I'm home on the farm, I'm probably going to be outside. I don't sit at my desk playing computer games all day long. I've got other projects I work on. So again, if you do need to get a hold of me more quickly than an email, just go ahead and text me or give me a call. I'm more than happy to answer the phone. No office hours, so by appointment. If you do need to talk with me about something, again, email me or text text message me. All right, a little background about myself. Of course, I'm an old farm boy from Kansas. I just grew up out here in the middle of Kansas. Happened to make my way to the airlines after a few years doing general aviation. I'm now a retired Southwest airline captain, retired off of the Boeing 737. My entry-level job into the commercial airline business was as a flight engineer for TWA. I engineered on a Boeing 727. Still have that ticket in my pocket. Not much use for that ticket anymore. Most aircraft now are two-man crews because of the automation that we have on these modern aircraft. I was the first officer for TWA, American, and AirTran Airways, then moved on to Southwest Airlines. Not by choice, they actually bought AirTran Airways, and I became one of their acquirees, shall we say. Through my career, I've obviously flown the Boeing 737, the DC-9, the 717, MD-80, and as they say in the industry, plumbed on the Boeing 727. I hold multiple ratings, got an ATP rating, of course, single engine and multi-engine instructor ratings, instrument instructor ratings, I have a basic ground instructor certificate, and I even have an experimental aircraft repairman certificate. Like to tinker around with airplanes once in a while. Built one, currently building another. 20,000 hours of total time of combined general aviation and commercial airline operations, at least 2,000 hours of dual given, and that includes about 1,200 hours of multi-engine instruction. Flight experience includes Part 91 pilot services. I owned and operated my own private Part 61 flight school in the early years, and went on to Part 135 operations, eventually making my way up into Part 121 passenger service. And a few years ago, I graduated from Kansas State University. So for this class, your textbook is going to be your iPad. Your iPad is going to be the basis for everything. Do not try to use your cell phone as an iPad. The screen on it is just too small. You'll be using your textbook or your iPad as your textbook. And what we will be doing is downloading to your iPad a iPad-based program called AeroSim. And that program is exactly like the programs I used throughout much of my career at the airlines. So it's a great program. If you need to learn aircraft systems, this is the program to use if the company you go to work for offers it. Then I'll be handing out additional material throughout the class period. And again, you will need an iPad, tablet, or the equivalent. Now, I'm going to read this real quick. This is the course description. What we're going to be involved with is electrical, environmental, hydraulic, fuel, ignition, and lubrication systems, including the theory of operation and calculations, principal systems analysis operation, and limitations of advanced electronic navigation, flight director, and automated flight controls systems, including GPS. That's right out of the book. That's what you read when you decided to sign up for this course. We're going to cover all that and more, maybe, or in more depth. And so throughout this course, the course goals and learning objectives outcomes are going to be that you're going to be able to recognize the difference between critical thinking and technical reasoning. And we use both in the airline business. So what's going to happen is you're going to feel like you're taking a drink out of a fire hose over this 8-week period. And I hope you're ready, because I don't expect you to get every drop, but I'd like to have you get a good taste of what the water is tasting like. So get your fire boots on, because we're going to get ready to start here momentarily. Of course, we have the PLA program highlights and accessing this class. It talks about the ABBY criteria. That's That's more K-State management stuff. I'm just an old farm boy. I don't understand what all that stuff is, but apparently I'm supposed to be teaching it. So hopefully we'll cover all that stuff, make sure that we cover the ABBY requirements for this class so that you can get credit for it towards your degree. Grading policy, that's probably what you're most interested in. I'm just going to give it to you briefly in the big picture. We have the AeroSim programs that, again, are going to be downloaded to your iPad. Those are going to be worth, well, first of all, let's say how many points we're going to provide you this, give you the opportunity to claim this class is worth 100 points towards your grade, or the grade in this class has a maximum of 100 points that are set. Of that 100 points, you have 12 points that you can obtain by completing the AeroSim modules on your iPad. We will do some reports that total up to a total of 6 points. AeroSim Loft and practical test, basically that's using your iPad. There's a little program in here called Free Play. We're going to fly from point A to point B using your simulation in your iPad, and that's going to be worth 25 points of the 100 points. Then we'll have a little bit of an AeroSim Loft written test. Think of that kind of like your final oral before we send you to the next class. And we also have what we call class participation points in the form of Hangar Talk. That's worth 12 points. Hangar Talk is kind of an interesting concept I came up with. It's really just a discussion board, but I want you to think of it as being like you're sitting around in a hangar with a bunch of old geezers. They're all drinking their Coca-Colas or Dr. Peppers or coffee or whatever the case might be. And of course, they're always trying to stump their buddy. So they ask questions, see if the other guy knows the answer. And that's what you're going to be doing in Hangar Talk. You're going to be asking questions. Of course, you're going to have to provide the answer, but that's the idea. Then, of course, we have 4 system exams that will cover 4 areas. Each exam is worth 10 points for a total of 40. This all adds up to be 100 points possible for the class. So the rest of this is pretty much a more detailed explanation of how the points are accumulated and more of a course summary. Or specifically, we will be talking about engines, pneumatics, electrical, air conditioning, pressurization, flight controls, fuel, hydraulics, ice protection, landing gear, and communication systems. We'll be doing some FMS skills, which flight management skills. That's your iPad Free Play FMS Loft that we talked about just a few minutes ago. Then we'll do some NASA reports. If you understand what NASA reports are, that's the format we're going to use for doing reports. It'll help you get used to filling out the way you self-report when you make an error when you're flying the line or even flying your general aviation aircraft. It's kind of like your get out of jail free card. So the FAA has a more difficult job of taking action against you. So you'll learn how to do that. So that's it for the syllabus. Let's go back up to the home page. Always return to the home page if you get lost in this course, and we'll move on. So we've covered the syllabus. Now we're going to cover what's going to make your iPad work, and that's the license for the AeroSim program. As the course begins, I will go ahead and send you a licensing number for the AeroSim program. It'll look something like this. These folks have already been through a class. These were their numbers that I provided to them so that they could download the AeroSim course. And so I will send you an email covering that. All right. So when you get that email, you want to open it up and then download the program. Go back to the home page, and down here on looks like line number 4 of the introduction, you'll see that there's instructions on how to use the license number to download the program onto your iPad. Finally, there's a way that I communicate with folks. It's called announcements. I'm sure you're familiar with it. If I need to get a hold of all of you as an update, say I do an update to the course, or I change a test date, or I've just messed something up and I need to let you know what it is, I will do that through announcements. That's the easiest and quickest way for me to let you all know instantaneously that we've made some changes, or there might be an upcoming quiz or test. So let's talk about how we have the course actually laid out. We have, as I said, 8 weeks of training. The first 4 weeks will deal with specifically systems on the aircraft. And I have the systems laid out and numbered. As you can see, on week 1, we have jet engine systems. This is a PowerPoint program that is basically your lecture for that system. I'll provide that to you. Just click on this and go to the lecture. Then after you complete the lecture, you will then go to the AeroSim module for jet engines. That's going to be in your iPad. After you complete that module, you'll get 1 point for doing that. And then for Hangar Talk, where you develop a question that you're going to try to stump your classmates on. And then if it's really a good question, I will actually use that question on the written test in this course. And normally you get 1 point for it. If I use it on the test, I'll give you 2 points. So you actually have the opportunity of getting more than just 100 points. However, I have to cap the class course to 100 points possible. Who cares? That's an A regardless, but you can get more than 100 points if you aced everything. Otherwise, this will give you a chance to make up a little extra credit. Okay, and then you move on to the next thing. That was engines. Those 3 items were engines. They're all labeled number 1. And the next system will be called APU and external power. There's again 3 modules on that. Like, the lecture, the AeroSim module, and again Hangar Talk. And again, the same thing repeats. Rinse, wash, rinse, and repeat, shall we say. Number 3 is the pneumatic system, and that covers the lecture again, the AeroSim module, and Hangar Talk. And then at the end of week number 1, you will take an exam covering those modules in week number 1, and that exam will be worth 10 points, although it says 5 here. That's not been upgraded yet. It will be updated, and you will have approximately 50 questions for that exam. Then you go to week number 2, same thing again, only different systems laid out exactly the same way for simplicity. And at the end of week number 2, you take your second exam. Then week number 3 is the same thing. And right down through week number 4, when we'll finish up the 4th exam on systems, you're halfway through the class. Now the fun starts. We will be doing some reports in week number 5, just to give you a little bit of a break. It's less stressful, more videos that you're just going to watch, and I'll pull those up, and they'll be identified in week number 5. Then starting week number 6, we do AeroSim Free Play. And this is basically teaching you how to use the FMS, the flight management system, in CRJ 700. We hope that you take the CRM class. That's where you'll actually get to put this into real practice in the simulator. And this will be the kind of the entry level course for getting you set up to do that, so you can progress through the CRM class more seamlessly. So training on the FMS Free Play and flight management system. We'll go through week 6 and week 7. And then finally, we finish up on week 8 after you've learned how the AeroSim Free Play system trainer works. Then we will give you a course to fly a trip, shall we say, from, say, Salina, Kansas, possibly to Denver, Colorado, where we give you all the documentation necessary for you to complete flight safely and effectively. And that'll take you a little bit of time to figure out how to put all the inputs in for that particular LOFT. LOFT stands for Line Orientation Flight Training. and that's down here. Before we do the line orientation and flight training with the AeroSim, we will take an AeroSim free play test. I call it the game show. That's what I do in my face-to-face class. For you folks, it will probably just be a written quiz. Won't be that much, but it'll be kind of an oral, just to make sure you've gotten the big concept on how everything has been stepped through in the class. Other than that, I pretty much that's the tour of the class. Hope you got something out of that. Hope it makes it a little easier. Anytime you want, you can begin week number 1, complete it, and then in week number 2, you rinse or wash, rinse, and repeat. I will say this: follow the modules step by step. Don't get ahead. Don't bounce around. Stay on track, and I think you'll get the most out of this class. So, that being said, love my job. Glad to be here. Hope I can make a difference. Welcome to Advanced Aircraft Systems.